Welcome to In Sequence, a comics podcast for everyone. I'm Scout, and these are your panelists.
Hey, I'm Matt.
I'm Jillian.
Unfortunately, Robin cannot be with us today, but she has provided us with a beautiful collage of her favorite little guys. So we will find some way to get those to you, dear listeners, when it comes around.
We're going to make it its own social post.
Robin's little guys.
And we're going to have to make it a thread, like a Beast Guy thread, because there's so many good little guys. Today, we are covering the first 3 volumes of Beast Compkex. This is a series written and illustrated by Paru Itagaki, originally serialized in Weekly Shonen Champion, first from 2016 to 2019, and then again from 2021 to present. It is still ongoing, which I didn't realize until I started doing my research. Published by Akita Shoten in Japan and localized/published in the States by Viz Media. It began life as an independently produced doujinshi, which Itagaki later pitched to publishers, and that led to the serialization of early Beast Compkex chapters, and then that subsequently led to Beastars, her long-running series that is done now and set in this universe. I was excited to have another doujinshi origin story, which I always love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't realize how connected this was to Beastars when we started reading it.
I'd read the first volume before, but I hadn't gotten around to reading the second 2 volumes. I did not realize how much they would reference characters from Beastars proper, because when I read the first one, I was like, oh, this is just a bunch of short stories set in the world. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then reading the other 2, I was like, oh, hey, I know that guy.
Well, I've also never read or watched Beastars. So this actually made me curious about Beastars, which I know is like a bigger deal, and I think in terms of popularity.
100%.
Yeah, Beastars looms large in my head. I think it's been quite popular, especially once the anime came out. A very well-made anime as well.
I also feel like I can talk about Beastars and people generally know what it is because of the anime.
Yeah, that is very true.
Yeah, I knew that this was set in the same universe. I had kind of thought that it was more just like disparate stories, not necessarily relating to the Beastars characters. I was actually really pleasantly surprised to recognize some characters. I think it's fun as an item where you know Beastars, and so you end up getting these references or sort of knowing particular, like some of these are about background characters from Beastars. And it's fun that way, but also a lot of them I think work independently, and some of them are just independent specifically to this as well. So it's really, I had a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, me too.
I really enjoyed the time that I spent reading Beastars originally. I think it was a COVID read for me, if I recall correctly, because I know Scout had introduced me to it essentially. Like I had seen the stuff for the anime and I was like, oh, that seems fun. And then Scout was like, no, you really got to you really should read the manga. And I was like, all right, yeah.
That sounds like something I would say.
I read the manga, I'm pretty sure, during COVID. And then I had just happened upon Beast Compkex at the bookstore one time, and I was like, oh, what is this? Like, is this related? Like, I didn't realize that it existed.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I definitely had a good time with it.
Before we get into discussion proper, here is just a little plot overview. Beast Compkex explores a world of anthropomorphic animals that is whimsical, bizarre, and often grim, as carnivores and herbivores coexist in a mostly integrated society that, despite best efforts, sees its fair share of herbivore death by carnivorous devouring. Each chapter covers a self-contained snapshot of the many ways 2 beasts can leave a mark on each other, mostly metaphorically, but sometimes literally. From gazelle and crocodile co-hosts spurring each other into culinary debates on the set of a popular cooking show, to a tiger office worker's transformative massage from an alpaca who plays against type, and even a special guest appearance from my personal best friends, Legoshi and Hare from Beastars, these volumes take us places we probably never would have thought to go, ever, in a million years. But in that regard, Paru Itagaki has us covered.
There's so much in that plot summary that I cannot wait to talk about in the spoiler discussion.
There's some good little stories in here.
Yeah. Yep.
I am a huge fan of a short story collection, just in general. That was one of my favorite things to like study. And I feel like I mentioned this in our Wonder Woman episode, just how much I really enjoyed like studying short stories and stuff like that. So I feel like I was primed and ready to enjoy this.
Yeah, you did. Absolutely. Because I just edited that episode.
I was going to say, you just edited it. And I was like, I probably mentioned
You talked about the Lady and the Tiger a lot.
Look, it happens.
But that actually, the Lady and the Tiger would be an apt title for a chapter inside of this book.
Yeah,
it would be.
They're all named like the animal and the other animal.
It gives fables. Like it gives Aesop's fables titles.
Oh, if Aesop wrote these fables, that would be amazing. I would love to hear how everybody feels about this world, Paru Itagaki and her animals. I personally am a big fan of this, but I want to hear what everybody else thinks.
So I have to tell the listener the joke that I made for y'all the other day, where I in Discord, I said, man, this part of Beast Complex went crazy. And then I had a spoiler image. And inside the spoiler image was a panel from the Zootopia abortion comic.
See, the funny thing is too, Matt, that's like a decent plot point in Beastars proper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's some discussion of characters who have like interspecies relationships and what like having a child is like in that situation. So I was dying. I was like, wow, Matt doesn't realize how real that is.
I made it as a joke, but like also that my first impression, I was like, oh, those two things are doing the same thing. This world and that world are asking similar questions. And one is Disney-fied propaganda. And this is just like extremely horny, fun times.
Yeah. I fucking love how horny on main Paru Itagaki is.
Hell yeah.
I think I sent it in the chat, but one of the recent ideas that she talked about, she's either is writing or is going to write, is about a housewife who can see ghosts, and the ghost sees her having sex with her husband, and instead of scared, she's like, oh my god, he just saw how boring my sex life is.
How embarrassing.
How embarrassing. I just think Paru Itagaki is like unafraid to be weird with it, and I really appreciate that about like her stuff.
Unafraid to like laugh at the goofiness of her own work as well.
Oh, for sure.
You have a note in here about there's a reference to Zootopia in Volume 1. I completely missed this. What was it?
So it's in the back. She has
I was going to say, is it in the little author's notes?
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
I was going to talk about the
sense.
author's notes because I have the physical copies, but this is what the extra says because I think it's very funny. After Beast Complex was published, an animated movie featuring animal characters was created near the castle, located in the country of a certain world power, and became a Zootopian hit. My series Beastars began right after that. I'd already been drawing the series behind closed doors for a while, but the timing wasn't good.
Incredible.
And I think, like, and this is something we might discuss in the spoiler section, but, like, I feel like, contrary to Zootopia, where it feels very much like a one-to-one sort of situation, like, it feels very heavy-handed moral, like, metaphors, I feel that, like, the Beastars world and Beast Complex are less of, like, all carnivores are representing this group of people and more like this particular animal represents this particular stereotype of a person. Like, not necessarily a, like, this is someone from this country. It is more of, this is somebody who tends to self-isolate and things like that. Is definitely what it feels more like.
Yeah, it's not doing like the racism planet just learned what racism is.
Yes.
You know, which can happen with like these kinds of stories, be it aliens or animal metaphors or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think that something a reader could, I think it's a mistake for a reader to fall into specifically thinking about anything in this world as like a one-to-one to anything in human society, because I think that does the whole thing a disservice because it's so much stranger stranger and more specific, like you said, Jill. And like, I think a lot of this, the point of it is to depict things like stereotyping and prejudice and segregation. Is there's a segregated school that is discussed in one of these. And I think it's talking about those topics, but it's talking about those topics specifically very divorced from real life and talking about it in this context of this animal world and what kind of stereotypes and prejudice come up with animals when you're thinking about animals, species, and behaviors.
It's less what if humans were animals and more what if animals were humans.
Yeah, that's a really good thought and a really good point. Very good way to put it.
Another thing from the back of the first volume is her talking about, like, why she, like, how she started writing it. And one of the things that, like, really kind of clicked with me on, like, oh, this is why everybody who tries to say, like, oh, Beastars is just, like, you know, it's the same kind of metaphor as Zootopia. And I'm like, I don't think so. But one of the things that she talks about is, like, she says, since I was a child, all I've ever drawn are pictures of animals. There comes a time when children see a dog character walking a dog, or a bird character eating chicken, and realize that doesn't make sense. They can't stop pointing out how weird it is and making fun of it. The whole goofy Pluto debate, you know. This happens around the 3rd to 6th grade. I really, really hated that. The thought bubble is they're showing off how smart they are by making fun of someone else's artistic creation. I was in grade school, so those weren't my exact words. That's why when I drew animals, I came up with a variety of settings and experimented with my characters. And the thought bubble is a bear and a rabbit live in the same apartment. They have to get along because they're roommates. So it's very much more of like, oh, what if I put these guys in a situation? Kind of writing to me, which is not to say that, like, you can't look into the metaphors there and that they wouldn't be there, but it definitely, like, is a lot more fun when you look at it like, oh yeah, what if a bear and a rabbit had to be roommates? How would that go?
Yeah. Are you all animal people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am extremely not.
Matt, Scout and I literally have a podcast about anthropomorphized cats.
I figured. But also, like, to me, like, cats are so domesticated that there's a chance that you're not. Like, I'm clearly a dog person, and I'm clearly my dog person. But the thing for me is that I have never been, like, generally an animal person. I don't like horse rides. I don't enjoy, like, petting zoo or anything like that. And a lot of that comes from just, like, my particular, like, neurodivergence and not enjoying the outdoors. Like, I don't know, I'll sit on a deck at like a nice cabin or something and make a fire. But like, if you're going to ask me to sleep on the ground, I will opt out. Thank you very much. So I came into this, and I come into most stories centered around animals pretty skeptical. And it has to be like pretty well done for me to be into it. And this like completely won me over.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Because of the things that you're talking about, because of the depth of just like putting two guys in a situation and seeing what happens. Like, the story was interesting enough by committing itself to the rules of its world that like, I was like, oh, okay, I get what we're doing here.
I'm so glad, because I forget that there's people out there who aren't animal people sometimes, because I have been this way for so long. In fact,
very much so. Yeah.
I wanted to specifically call out Paru Itagaki is a freak in many ways, and I mean that as the largest compliment I can pay a person, but one of them is just the variety and breadth of animals that she represents, because you don't get to Stellar's sea eagle without being an animal dork.
Yeah, and like, I like to think myself of an animal dork, but I had not heard of a Stellar's sea eagle. So I was like, okay.
We have Stellar's sea eagles at the Los Angeles Zoo, and that is how I first learned about them. Fun fact, they share a common ancestor with the American bald eagle.
That's pretty
interesting. Cool. Every time I read it, I read seagull, which is not what they are.
Stellar's seagull.
Stellar's seagull. Scout, you have here something that I also noted down, and that was like, oh, and Matt put this too, the improvement of the art over time.
And the storytelling, I think.
Oh, personally. Yeah, for sure. And I think, like, I really enjoyed a lot of the ones in the first volume, but it is so clearly, like, there is so clearly a line where you can see, like, oh, this one was written before she did Beastars. Because it is, like, a very different not different, but like a very earlier art style of hers. It's very sketchy. Which I do find a lot of her sketchiness very charming in a lot of her work.
Mm-hmm.
I think she has an incredibly unique style when it comes to character design, especially. But there's like definitely a lot of things in there where you can see like, oh, the improvement is like leaps and bounds from volume 1 to volume 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the ways it improves for me, not just the art, but like the storytelling specifically, is that kind of fable feeling you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the first volume, a lot of the stories end in a way that I'm like, okay, I guess it's done. And in volumes 2 and 3, I feel like they're more complete stories, even though they might like end in like a kind of off kilter way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's wrapped up in a way that makes sense for the characters. Knowing
now that a lot of these ones from the first volume, maybe all of them from the first volume.
I think it's all except...
Oh yeah, she said which ones they were, right?
The 5th and 6th ones. So the crocodile and the gazelle and the fox and the chameleon.
Yeah, those so those first after. 4 feel more like student work or very early work, which lines up with the timeline because she apparently, made them herself and published them herself through doujinshi before getting an editor and going through a publisher to publish them. So that tracks as far as like the storytelling stuff. Like, yeah, this does feel very early.
Yeah, I was going to say the first volume feels really, really doujinshi.
Oh, definitely.
Actually, I know that we've talked about it before on the show, but for the sake of it being the first time, can one of y'all explain doujinshi to the listener?
Oh, yeah.
Because we're using that term a lot.
Oh, yeah. Doujinshi is self-published manga work. Essentially, a lot of times it is fan-related stuff, like people making fan fiction style manga. A lot of times it is romantic or erotic. None of those are like required for it to be called a doujinshi, but there and it doesn't have to be fan work to be a doujinshi, but a lot of mangaka get their start doing this kind of doujinshi work, these small things, single chapter or very thin short stories that I believe a lot of times they are hand bound and sold at Japanese conventions. There's like specific conventions, fan conventions, and like I think small seller conventions that are held where mangaka will often, I think especially, at least I've run into it a lot with women mangaka of starting with doujinshi and then going from that into having an editor. But also worth noting, something I found out when I was researching Paru Itagaki yesterday is that she is also the daughter of a mangaka.
Yes.
A mangaka who goes by Keisuke Itagaki, who I'm not familiar with his work, but
it's Baki the Grappler. That's like I believe it is a far more like, I just know it because one of the YouTubers that I watch recommended it, but it is supposed to be like a really martial arts sort of manga.
Yeah, it is specifically phrased here, martial arts series from 91 to 99 is one of his most popular things. Oh, and was published in the same magazine that Beast Compkex and Beast Stars is in.
Nepo baby.
That's cool. Maybe the thing I did find out is that she didn't announce her name until after she had gotten published because she didn't want to be a Nepo baby.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's specifically like this is not something she divulged directly until like somebody figured it out, and then she was like, yeah, and I guess they did a joint like interview where they're like, yeah, you got us, this is true.
Amazing. Well, she does good comics either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgive her the Nepo baby because it's hard to make manga, and you gotta, even if you're a Nepo baby in manga, you gotta be, you're in the game. You are not doing it just because your dad does it. You're doing it because for the love of the game, because it's thankless work to make a manga.
That's so true.
There's a note here around the concept of devouring that I would love to discuss if someone wants to talk about it.
Yes. The concept of devouring, and it is always that word also, devouring. I'm very curious. I didn't look it up. I'm very curious to know like exactly what the Japanese word is, and like if there is a particular purpose or like specificity to whatever the word is in Japanese that she chose to use, because devouring feels like a very specific, it evokes something specific in English. And so I'm curious if that is like just a quirk of translation, or if it is specifically being translated as devouring and not just like eating, because like whatever the Japanese word is also has something that is more like romantic, not in the actual romantic sense, though that is also it, but just like the word devouring has a romantic quality to it. It feels grand in some ways, or just richer. But yeah, it is often associated in these stories and paralleled with and stand-in some cases for love, lust, physical intimacy, sort of runs the gamut of this stuff. How did we feel about that? What do we think about that?
I feel like this, as someone who's read the Beastars manga, I feel like this explores a couple more sides of devouring that I feel like I wish we had gotten more of in the main series, you know? Because it feels, there are certain instances in this where it's portrayed not entirely as like, how do I put this? There are certain moments where it is like transactional in a different way than it is in the main series, I'll say. As like, I think it delves into a lot of different ways of thinking about the devouring in this world.
I'm not surprised that it is represented this way, in that like we talk about sex and attraction the same way that we talk about hunger and craving, right? Like they are related feelings. So it doesn't surprise me that like it's the sort of end game of a sexual encounter multiple times in these books, but it was still shocking to read the first time it happened. Maybe we can talk about like specifics of that encounter later. But I also think there's something realistic in like the forbidden aspect of it that relates to lust and attraction, that while I don't have like a cannibalization fetish or whatever, you know, it made sense to me, at least while reading, right? I was like, oh, I get it. In this world, that would be something that you would sexualize or like relate to relationships. Like I can see how that comes out of it. Again, an instance of, you know, this mangaka taking a world and saying, okay, what would happen, right? Here's some basic concepts. What does that mean?
Yeah, and I feel like I enjoy that, again, much like I mentioned with like the whole making these animals. I enjoy that it's not always clear like if it is a sexual thing or if it is just this is how people take from each other kind of thing. Yeah. I think it's a lot more like foggy.
Well, especially in that first story, I won't get into details on it, but that first story where we kind of see we'll devouring happen, and it is related to sex, but it's also like not clear if one person was being used or not.
Yeah.
Right. And like what the motive was there. It's interesting.
Yeah. I think this is also another point where it's really key to not try and one-to-one something, because not that we're talking about it like that, but I could see somebody reading it very much one-to-one, like equating the devouring with sex and equating specifically like devouring with sexual violence. And I think that is not a angle that I would take with it, because I think that flattens everything that is so strange and different, and like it is a whole other sort of layer, and the two things can maybe end up like the traumas could be similar, or even the events could overlap, but I don't think that they should be seen as 100% like this is a metaphor for sexual violence, because I think that does a disservice to the concept of it.
No, I think to me it's just an added layer of something that would happen in a sexual situation in this world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and just to say, it's not always sexual either. Like devouring is happening outside of those situations because the carnivores have a natural like desire for eating the herbivores, right? And we see different ways that like that shapes this society in interesting ways.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And in fact, a lot of the times, like the emotional aspect of it really tends to only come into play once there is a specific like interspecies connection made, because we also have talks pretty early on in this of like the black market where you can go and buy herbivore meat that is more traditionally like, you know, butchered or packaged the way that we see it in the real human world, which is a whole other thing that is explored more in Beastars as well, and is a whole different thing. But that is like very like Jill said, transactional. That is transactional to like the umpteenth degree. And doesn't come into the like you said, Matt. It is just like an additional layer that can texturize a situation. There is another complicator or like an additional layer to this that I'm very interested to explore once we get into the spoiler section around one of the stories.
Yeah. Are we ready for spoilers?
I'm good to go.
I'm good to go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
To start off our spoiler points, I want to just hear everybody's top 3 if you have them.
Okay. My number 1 is the tiger and the alpaca.
It's so good.
By like a mile. I loved that story so much.
It's a really good one.
That's the one that you talked about, the massage in the plot summary that I was like biting my tongue. I was like, I can't talk about it yet. I also really, really loved the chipmunk and the mountain hare. I love the mountain hare in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
You're like, what is this about? And you find out it's a bear. And I also really loved Legoshi and his girlfriend at the purification ceremony.
Yes.
I thought that was really fun. And just like, shout out for Mugi. Loved that whole story.
Shout out Mugi.
Yeah, with Mugi.
That was a lot of fun. 2 of mine are the same as Matt. I really loved Tiger and the Alpaca. I thought it was like, honestly, one of the most fun ones to read, just because really I feel fun. Like it was so playful. And I think the way the tiger is drawn, I think is just very nice as well. I think that she does a really good job with like the stripes and everything. It looked very, very good. And similarly, the wolf and the rabbit, the Legoshi and Haru one, I loved that so much. And I'm so glad that you enjoyed it, not having like all of the context for it. But I'm over here like, why was this not in the main story? It's so like, it fits in so good for that. And I was like, oh, what a shame people are missing out.
Yeah, I had none of the context other than knowing that Legoshi was in the, in Beastars. Yeah.
I ended up picking one from every volume, non-intentional, just sort of happened that way. And Camel and the Wolf was my other favorite one.
I really like Camel and the Wolf too. My 3 favorites are actually I love all of the ones that y'all brought up as well. One of those is also on my list. We all share, my number 1 is the wolf and the rabbit, which is Legoshi and Haru. Unsurprisingly, those are my best friends in the world. I love them so much. I was so happy to see them. But also just the story is so interesting. The concept of it is so interesting. I'm really excited to talk a little bit more about that in a bit. And then the other 2 that I really liked was the turtle and the sheep. Because I just liked the idea of somebody not wanting to make a decision for themselves and like coming to making a decision for themselves. I think was very relatable to me.
Yeah, it's an extremely human story.
Yeah, it's a very good one.
And I really like the Japanese deer and the snow leopard because I think that is such... Every time the animal world sort of collides with a concept from pop culture, I'm very engaged with it. And I just love this story so much because it is one of those, of course this would happen. Like, of course this scenario would happen in this world of like, it's a method acting scenario gone wrong. And also I think that it has a 2-page spread that made me laugh out loud.
I love that. So the story of that one is that 2 actors are about to win an Academy Award, or just did win an Academy Award. The movie is about a devouring, and the one of the 2 admits to the other that he devoured a duck on set. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just like extremely like, oh yeah, that is a conflict that would arise. There would be famous animals, right, that do stupid stuff.
That do stupid stuff on set, and it becomes a whole thing. And also just like the concept of his co-star, the deer, being like, you're gonna ruin my career if you reveal this crime that you did right now. Can we not do this?
Yeah.
Scout, is the 2-page spread that you're talking about the one where he's trying to get to the door and she's like beating the shit out of him?
No, I do really like that one too. That's really good. But the one that made me laugh out loud is the one near the very end after they make this deal where he's like, no, I'm going to reveal it and you're going to pull out your acting chops and you're going to pretend like it's the first time that you've heard this information. And that's going to be like part of what carries you through this. And it made me laugh because I think she looks like she's acting so badly.
Yeah.
No, it's so true.
Like her reaction is dog shit.
It's so bad.
And it's so funny.
Oh man.
It's so funny. That one just made me laugh so hard, and it really is just like, oh yeah, this is 100% something that would have. It's such a real like, oh yeah, of course, because this kind of take out eating somebody, and this shit has happened.
Yeah,
I think we should talk about the tiger and alpaca since it's on
yes,
two
please.
of our lists.
Yeah.
Does someone want to explain, at least intro this one?
Yeah, so the tiger and the alpaca is about a tiger who works just in an office.
And she's a salary woman.
Yeah, she's a salary woman, and her coworkers are kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
She's really frustrated with work, so she goes to a chiropractor, and her chiropractor keeps trying to like tell her how she needs to let this massage go. Like, you need to turn onto your back so that I can, like, massage your, like, abdomen and stuff like that. And she's like, no, you're not allowed to do that. And they kind of start arguing. And then eventually,
I mean, it starts out funny before the turn, even. Like, the quote, it's the only place left in our modern woke society where it's appropriate for a carnivore to order an herbivore around, made
it's
me
so funny.
Just, I like guffaw.
Yeah, a big part of this is that this tigress kind of thinks that she wants this massage because she wants a place where she can be in control, because she feels like she is not fully in control and not fully able to be herself at work. And then it turns out that what she really wants is to be ordered around.
Yeah.
And it is so fucking funny.
It's extremely Paru just being like, no, this is horny. You're not reading it wrong.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that killed me at the very end is when they run into each other on the street. And she's like, oh my gosh, you look so good. You've got no tension. Like, your posture is so good. And then she walks away and calls her kitten. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, I truly loved this story. I could not believe what I was reading.
I looked at what the next volume, which just came out apparently, and it's like all apparently going to be stories like this one.
Amazing.
It's supposed to be a lot of more spicier topics.
Let's go.
Oh my, like this page where she's like, the alpaca is talking to her and she's like, because at this clinic, you're just a helpless kitten crying meow meow. You haven't done what I asked. I was like,
it's so good.
Oh my God. I was like, this is
Dummy mommy.
Just a kink scene.
Yeah.
And they fully fucked on that table.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely.
What happened didn't feel real. Like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we know.
And she keeps calling her, like, a nasty chiropractor, which 100% is like, okay, they boned down.
This tiger sees her Dami Mommy alpaca chiropractor once and then she's fixed. Relatable.
Sometimes you just need that one moment. One of the ones that I didn't mark as my favorite because other ones beat it out, but this was a very close second for me, was The Pig and the Peacock.
Yeah.
Which is about a pig taxidermist who gets introduced to a peacock police officer. And they kind of have they also have an almost sexual thing going on.
Absolutely. They are like in love with each other fully.
there's the peacock is going to get transferred to a rougher part of town. And so he's like, I'd rather you kill me first and like make sure that like you preserve my beauty instead of me getting torn to a million shreds. And I think the thing I really enjoyed about this one was the way that Jibera, which is the peacock, I really enjoyed the way that like his body takes up space on the pages. I feel like it's such he feels like a very different design from most of the other characters in these.
Yeah, and he is one of my favorite, just in terms of visuals, he is one of my favorite designs. The shapes that Paru gets with him, like you said, the way he takes up space, but also just like the angles of his eyes and the way that his tail curls is all so captivating. Just like he captivates his friend Eugene the pig.
Also, the concept of a taxidermist in this world is wild.
It's crazy, dude.
And like, he even comes in and he's like, you are on the edge of the law. Like, you are only kind of allowed to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one of those things like when Paru brings in animal stuff, like stuff that we associate with just animals in general in the real world, and is like, imagine if this was a society? Isn't that wild? Was that crazy? And I'm like, yeah, man, cool. Hello, dear listeners. You have had no interruption to your listening experience, but we have had an interruption to our recording experience. It is currently 2 weeks later than seconds ago it was for us.
I think it's actually 3 weeks. I think it's actually 3 weeks.
It's been a while.
Weeks. It's 3 weeks. It's almost a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is 3 weeks later than it was.
My computer died.
Jill's computer exploded. It was exploded.
Understatement.
It fully shat the bed in the middle of us recording.
It was wild.
That you were able to save that recording in the first half of this episode is just absurd to me.
I cannot believe it, truly.
It's a Legoshi miracle.
It is fully a miracle that my computer managed to save that before I had to kill it for good and resurrect it.
Yeah, you had to do like a
factory reset.
Factory reset on it, right? The ghost that haunts your computer was really having a time of it that day. But we're back now. We're going to finish our discussion of Beast Compkex Volumes 1 through 3. Hopefully we won't repeat ourselves at all. If we do, please forgive us this grave sin. But I'm excited to finish up our convo. We were really just getting going with the spoiler discussion. Jill, I believe the last thing we were talking about was you calling out the pig and the peacock as far as artwork goes.
Yes.
And I remember that immediately preceding your computer exploding, I had been talking about the shapes of our peacock character and like how cool he looks on the pages and how unique that design is.
Yeah, and I really think one of the things that I really like is just how well the, like, neck of the peacock is, like, done. He's so curvy.
Yes. There's definitely something really special about Paru Itagaki's specific anthropomorphization, or anthropomorphic. Is that the word?
I think that's the right word.
That's the word. It's just a big hot mess.
It's a big one. Because she does take it a lot more naturalistic than a lot of anthro work that you see. There are still a lot of humanization in it. But there's a lot more shapes, I would think, especially with the bird characters that feel a lot closer to, like, this is the bird.
Yeah, a lot of the birds, like, do fully have wings. Which is always, like, a hard thing for it seems like it is a varied thing when it comes to, like, anthropomorphic animals, is, like, how much do I do, like, does the bird have wings and arms? Does the bird just have wings? Do the feathers act as hands?
This is genuinely...
How do bird work?
This is, like, the dilemma. Capital T, capital D, the dilemma with bird anthros. I would say, like, I've drawn a lot of Rito in my time. I think about them a lot. Like, the Rito in Legend of Zelda have gone through a bunch of different permutations from when they were originally introduced in Wind Waker. And now they kind of have arm hands, but in the first, in Wind Waker, they kind of had basically regular arms, but then when they needed to fly, they would just have wings instead of arms. And that's sort of how Paru does it as well. There's a lot of like when the birds are flying, they have wings for arms, and then when they're on the ground, it's a lot more like we're cheating this to just be an arm. And I like that take on it. I think that's a fun simplification of the problem.
I was listening. Sorry, it's just really weird to be recording this like this much later.
I know, it's so weird.
I was listening to a podcast yesterday that was talking about like 90s superhero comics and how the artists in that era would often draw these superheroes kind of like scrunched over, or like Spider-Man would be like kind of hunched over in a ball like he often is, right? Like he's got his knees into his chest, but they would still take up the entire page. Like it was as if they would stand up, they would literally burst off the page. And I think specifically the Peacock in this story makes me feel that way, even though like they're not always like taking up a whole page. It feels like this Peacock's like presence is dominating this entire story, even when he's not like the primary character in the scene. Yeah. There's a couple panels near the end where time is progressing, to be clear, but you're seeing like the top of his head in one panel and the rest of his body in the other panel, but the two panels are in different points of time. And also the pig is only in one of those panels. It's really cool. It's just like the sense of scale that you get happens in different ways in each page.
Yeah. I just noticed on page 27 of volume 2, near the end of this story, there is another Legoshi cameo. He's standing behind the Peacock looking at him.
He's just chilling.
I love it when I get to see a little Legoshi. All right. I think that's what I've got for that one. You guys have anything else for Pig and the Peacock, or should we move on to
just one thing
one?
that came to my mind, which is that I think we've talked about in this episode so far, like a lot of the devouring as just like a general theme. But I think what this story does that is interesting is have a take on like the gruesomeness of this imagined world that is not about devouring. Like I think a lot of times, as interesting as that concept is, sometimes it felt like overused when I was like reading these 3 volumes one after the other.
Yeah, it
and
comes
it was
up
nice.
a lot.
Yeah, it was nice to see like, oh, you're right, taxidermy would be weird.
Yeah. I really think it was a fun piece of world building to explore, like, hey, we taxidermy animals, and a lot of people like taxidermy their pets that they like want to remember. What if in this world where everybody's animals, we do that to our loved ones?
One of the things that is really like the most special about Paru Itagaki's whole world, which I think is something that we touched on in the first half of this too, but is just the way that it is a world that has similar issues to our world on an emotional level, but is on a practical level a completely different beast. Yeah, not to make a pun.
That was great.
I think that was
loved
I think that was a very intentional pun, Scout. But it was a very good one, nonetheless. Do we want to move on to a different story that we wanted to talk about?
How about we talk about a Legoshi one?
Yeah.
Sure. I would love to talk about my friend Legoshi.
Legoshi and his girlfriend at the purification ceremony. Have we covered that one yet?
No, yeah, that's the next one. That was the one that made it on all of our lists as far as favorites.
Got it.
I love this story. I love Legoshi and Haru. Beastars as a entire manga it goes a lot of different places. There's a lot of stuff going on in it, but really the emotional core of it is Legoshi and Haru, and what does it mean to have this interspecies relationship between a carnivore and an herbivore, and all of the ways that is a problem.
And the fact that Haru is like, I want to have sex with this wolf so goddamn bad.
It really is.
He's trying to be a gentleman the entire time. He's like, no, that wouldn't be right. Like, that would be me, like, using my status as a predator over her. And she's like, please, oh my God, can we please kiss at least?
Please. She wants her boyfriend
she wants
so
him
bad.
so bad.
Also related to sex briefly, this isn't in here, but one of my favorite bits from Beastars proper is the sort of mini character arc where people start telling Legoshi that he has like an herbivore fetish.
Yes.
And just the way that is a thing, like, yeah, that would be something that would come up here. You know, I think there's a little bit of stuff about like fetish with the cute Shiba Inu story, which is earlier in volume 2. But it's funny. It's funny to think about what kind of weird fetishes or what kind of weird hangups or fixations an animal society would have. It's fun stuff.
Again, I don't remember if I said this already, but it's really clear to me that Paru has a cannibalization fetish.
And you know what? Good for her.
Paru and Devouring.
I'm really curious what fix she's reading.
I am too. I think I may have mentioned this when I listed out my tops, but like, I wish that I'm really glad it's in here because we get to talk about it with Matt, who hasn't read Beastars. But I feel like this would have done so well, like as a part of the story, like the main Beastar story. I think it is a really like good character moment and a good like part of their relationship to kind of see them sort of going through this ceremony to kind of like wash away the guilt of that first injury that he gave her. I just think that would have been really cool, but I loved seeing it in here. I think it was really nice. And I loved her little hakama. Or her kimono. I don't know which one it is. So good. But it is so fucking cute.
Yeah, she's got the kimono, he's got the hakama, I believe.
The hakama. Yeah. But it's so freaking cute.
Incredible. She's so cute. It's a rabbit making mochi on the moon hakama, which is also a really cute nod to that Japanese folklore about the moon and stuff.
Is this an injury that like happens like prominently in Beastars?
Yeah, so the very first time they meet.
Chapter, I believe, of Beastars, or like very, very early on. Actually, on page 151, in the top left corner of the left-hand page, there is an image here, and this is like a drawing from that first volume of Beastars, which is really fun to see that in contrast with the rest of this art and look at how far Paru's art has come as well.
For the context, they're walking on campus late at night. There's been like a recent devouring of a theater kid, and it's kind of got Legoshi all in a tizzy, and then he kind of has like a moment of wanting to devour Haru, but also stopping himself, but he does like scratch her arm that way. And that kind of specific thing, like, is a really big hang up for him in the early parts of Beastars.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it'd be cool to see in the actual story.
Yeah. It shapes, like, Legoshi's ideology throughout the whole series, I think. Because this is something that he keeps coming back to as far as what is devouring, like, what is the instinct to devour? What is it? What other emotions is it related to? In what ways? There's also like, no, I shouldn't talk about Beastars because I actually put Beastars on our maybe we should read this sometime list earlier today because we've had a taste here of this world and I would be really interested to maybe read some of that in the future. But I won't talk about it anymore. But there's so much going on with Legoshi and the way that he thinks about all this stuff in that series.
I was gonna say, just knowing that adds character to him in this because I really liked this story, but he felt like the least dynamic to me in this chapter.
He's kind of a sopping wet guy sometimes, most times. He's very very soft.
I just loved how quickly I was able to get into like the heads of these two people, like, and their relationship.
Yeah, that was what I was really interested in finding out from you is like, has someone who has not read the main manga, like, how did this hit for you? Which is why I was so happy it was on your list.
Yeah, no, and the reason it's on my list is because I felt like they were immediately like charming together. There's a line that when I was reading it, I was just kind of like bowled over by. It's like not super important. They've been waiting in line for, I don't know, 20 minutes or so, and it's their turn to do this purification ceremony. They say like to erase the psychic damage of the scar or whatever. And Haru says, Legoshi, the truth is I don't really care whether my scar gets purified or not. She says, I just wanted to attend the ceremony. It's like a wedding. And it's just like the two of them staring at each other. And I don't know, just like that gives me so much about like what these two are like together without having ever known them, right? Like she just wanted to like spend the day with her guy doing something cute. And like, it was also nice that like, now I know for him, it was something that he like really cared about and it ended up mattering more to him.
Yeah. I also really liked, I think it was, I like this 2-page spread where it's him crouched down to her level and you can just see how big he is because he basically takes up one whole page and a half, but where he, you know, she has just said like, it's like a wedding, and he goes forward and he kisses the scar on her arm. And that the next page, she's like completely freaking out, like having the hugest blush, like, oh my God, why did he do that? Because she really is like acting all cool and like, oh yeah, it's like a wedding, haha. And then he does something like genuinely sweet and romantic. And she's like, oh my God, I didn't intend for it to go that far.
There's a little bit here that reminds me of some moments in Veil by Koteri, actually. You sometimes get those moments of, you know, oh, we're kind of joking around a little bit, and then some genuine connection moment will happen, and the other person will be like, well, wait, hold on, I wasn't ready.
That's a very good pull.
Yeah.
Also, just shout out, I just have to say this, shout out to the Veil episode listeners. I hope you're on this one because I know it's like weirdly popular on YouTube. It has a lot of YouTube listeners.
Oh, let's go, my YouTubers.
Nice. And my back-ordered copy of the first volume finally
arrived. I really like the whole conceit of this one being that there is a ceremony sort of wrapped up in an emotional restorative justice for survivors of attacks from carnivores and like the person who attacked them and the ways in which they can mend those relationships. I think that that's a really cool idea just for a thing that exists in this world and really brings a lot of texture to the world that I didn't have before that I really like.
And I think, too, one of the things I really like, there's the page where they've got the line of all of the different animals attending together. And it is so interesting to see some of the pairs that you've got. Like, you've got what looks like a mongoose and some sort of bird. It's just like these two tiny little creatures that look like completely harmless. There's an alligator, like, carrying a mouse on a pillow.
Yes!
But like all of the different ways that these animals are like walking together and like, I agree, Scout. I feel like this ceremony is like such a cool part of this world of like showing that, you know, even though it is so common, there are so many animals here, like there is a lot more folks willing to kind of like go through forgiveness and like go past the harm that they've caused each other. And like it really makes for a more like, it's a lighter side of this world for sure.
Yeah.
Because the main series goes pretty dark, I would say, in terms of like the underbelly of society. But this shows that like, yeah, people can just be normal.
People can be normal about it. This chapter also does feature one of Robin's favorite little guys, which is this pair of like geckos or something, which I guess this implies that because they're also dressed up for the ceremony. So this implies that maybe this was like same species on same species violence.
Incredible.
But I love them in their little kimono and hakama.
Wow, I did just open a page and notice this crazy, like, bird in the background.
Yes, it's like a bancho bird back there.
What the hell? He's got frickin' Josuke hair. It's so cool.
There's so many good little background characters across all of these stories that when you take a few extra minutes to really look at the pages, you see so many little freaks complimentary.
Are there other stories we should move on to?
Did we talk about the Chipmunk one?
We have not talked about Chipmunk and Mountain Hare yet.
No, but I'm very down.
Mm-hmm.
Does someone want to like walk us through the basics on this one?
Yeah, this is a story about a chipmunk who works in publishing, which is such a good sentence that I get to say. Is that in volume 2?
Yeah, it's also in volume 2.
It's the story
Volume
right
2
before
has
this
a lot
one.
of hits.
Volume 2 is a banger.
Volume 2 is a banger.
Because volume 2 has the Shiba Inu one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Worth noting, so this one features a chipmunk. It's worth noting that size discrepancy is kind of taken into account with all of these animals. So this chipmunk works at a desk that is about 1/6 as big as like her antelope neighbor.
Mm-hmm. But still has to carry her briefcase on her back.
Still has to carry a full-size briefcase on her back because it was the other. So she gets this job from a hyena, I think he is, who's like, oh, my client, this author, is just not meeting their deadline. And I feel like part of the problem is that my client is an herbivore, a very gentle little mountain hare. And I just, as a carnivore myself, I think that I upset her herbivore sensitivities.
Yeah. I think I came on too strong and aggressive.
Yeah, I came on too strong, too aggressive. Can we get the chipmunk, like the newbie chipmunk, essentially, to take on this client and get this deadline met because we need this done? And she's like, I've never met this person. I don't know, but okay, I'll do it. She gets there.
Well, it's important to know that like this is kind of like a famous author, Ichijiku, and and the author is like known for writing like really heartfelt stories about herbivores, like about the experience of being an herbivore.
Mm-hmm. I have to double check. Is it specifically that also Ichijiku specifically writes about interspecies stuff? Or am I getting that mixed up with like the interspecies movie?
That's the movie. This one, it's specifically about like she is very popular as an author among the herbivore readers of the magazine.
Vivid psychological depictions of vulnerable beasts, have earned her an incredible following among our herbivore readers. Yeah, so she is like an herbivore author writing for herbivores is the thought here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And our intrepid chipmunk gets there with her huge briefcase. The author opens the door. It is not a gentle mountain snow hare. It is a big fucking bear in tight whiteies.
Yeah, in his underwear.
It's amazing.
And only his underwear.
And drooling. Like,
and
very
drooling.
like,
and she
like looks straight up like he's been like on meth and up for like a full week.
He looks like he has
horrible.
rabies.
Yeah.
He does. And she's immediately like, oh my God, he ate her.
But then starts talking about the deadline.
Yeah. And he's like, no. She realizes, oh, this is the author.
Mm-hmm. And it turns out that this author writes under this pseudonym and everything because he looks very scary, but is an extremely sensitive soul and likes to write sensitive stories. Mm-hmm. And so ended up with this pseudonym and this false persona to better match with the kind of writing that he does.
I just sent you one of the wildest visuals in this book.
It's so good.
It's so he's like
everywhere.
So cryptid.
Yeah.
So cryptid. And the little
like,
bear
this is the
tail.
most monstrous we see, like, I feel like a creature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
His little tail sticking out of his underpants.
So funny. In this image, I'm also delighted by all of these manuscript pages. One thing that I've learned just from reading a couple of manga about authors is that like Japanese manuscript pages are specifically laid out with these like with grid paper. I think a lot of Japanese paper is grid paper because they're drawing kanji as well as their kana and often are horizontal instead of or vertical instead of horizontal. And I just always love looking at them. They look so cool to me.
Yeah.
It must be the novelty of it, but it's always like, wow, I love that.
I think the resolution to this story is really good. Basically, it's clear that this bear has writer's block, and the way that he gets past it is to scare the chipmunk into thinking she's going to be devoured so that he can see, like,
what it looks like.
Yearning for life is what he says. And then he, like, writes the chapter about his main character and that character's yearning for life. And then, like, once it's done, it's like, hey, we should hang out sometime, basically. And it's like, has like a super sweet face.
And he's all like sunlit, and the scratchy lines of his fur are completely gone, and he's just like a big puffball.
Yeah, I think I like the idea of like him getting this new inspiration by getting the actual perspective of an herbivore. Because I think that speaks to what a lot of authors could often stand to do, which is like talk to people who are the types of people that they want to make characters about.
Yeah. I mean, maybe don't scare the subject of your story into thinking they're going to eat them.
Here, the thing I do not condone is making her fear for her life and think that she's about to get eaten like a little handful of popcorn. But it's a fun story. And I really like this chipmunk character. She is so like...
She's so expressive.
This job, yeah.
I love the panel where he's like, I'm a moon bear, but my heart is as sensitive as an ant's. That's why I can't stand that crude carnivore editor of mine.
Yes, and then we find out it was an editor problem, but not for the reason that the editor thought, basically.
Yeah.
Or basically it is, it's just that it's not about him being an herbivore, or the author being an herbivore. It's about the author being sensitive.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, I mean, which just adds to the same complications that the books in general are talking about, right? Like having characters that sort of like break molds and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since we're talking about volume 2, I do just want to mention, because I think, Matt, we all have the physical volumes, but all of them have these afterwords, a couple of different afterwords in each one. There's the, mentions of certain songs that go with certain stories. And I think the one that I really liked was the afterword for volume 2, which is kind of Paru talking about like what kind of short stories she wants to write. And so it's very much about like, do I prefer writing about relationships between characters or events that happen? And she's like, at first I thought I enjoyed writing about events most. When I write about relationships, I can create depth by digging deeper, but when I write about events, there's the fun of dropping bombs without warning. I've always lived near interesting buildings in Tokyo, such as the dormitory of a large university, the headquarters of a cult, and a small theater. These 3 buildings fascinate me, all that raw human drama roiling inside of them. Whenever I pass by, I wonder how many liters of tears have been shed behind those walls. I guess I'm fascinated by relationships too. Ideally, I want to draw manga with a good balance between relationships and events. And I think it's just such a fun little, like, stream of consciousness moment in this afterword of, like, trying to reckon, like, what am I writing about? Like, what do I actually prefer? And personally to me, it seems like her strength is writing about these relationships as reactions to events.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like she kind of talked her way into, I don't know if she realizes this, but the way it's written out kind of talks its way into they're the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, I read this and I'm like, I don't know that I understand the distinction.
Exactly.
And in fact, I think the best stories are things happening to people and watching them react to them until the next thing happens to people. Right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, that imbalance, you get shows like Lost or whatever, which,
Ouch.
I'd enjoyed it. I enjoyed Lost.
I also enjoyed Lost.
I don't hate the ending of Lost.
Problems.
But it has problems.
Either. Thank you, Matt. See, this is something Matt and I can agree on. This is our unpopular opinion that we can agree on. Is that the ending was
come to
not
me
as
to
bad.
back you up on most TV show endings.
Sweet.
Most.
But no, Lost did have its problems, but 100%.
Do we want to go through this whole one? Because this is the same volume the Mugi story is in.
I mean, yeah, let's do it.
I could talk about Mugi.
Go for
Love
it.
Mugi.
It's just very funny. It's a very funny little story about an extremely popular like specifically calendar model. Like there's a Mugi calendar every year, which is a very funny concept. Like I don't know that I can think of something that I've ever seen in the world that's like that. I mean, I guess there's like it's the 2026 cat calendar, and it's kind of like that. But it's like Mugi is specifically a pop culture personality for calendars that you buy where she's cute. And then you find out very quickly that Mugi is actually a middle-aged man Shiba Inu who they dress up in frilly little costumes and have him do a cutesy face. And he's getting tired of it.
Yeah. The phrase is, she's so cute, you can't not love her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then by the end, you have like there's a tabloid photo of him. He loses it. He's like, I've never ever asked you to love me, because it's all like people being like, what's up with Mugi? Mugi is, you know, she's losing her edge or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's starting to like seem older too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh my gosh, can you believe this beautiful little Shiba Inu is actually a middle-aged man who's always
that's right. It comes out in the
tabloids.
But then it kind of ends up giving him a second wave of his career where now he's going to be his more authentic self instead of just being the cute Shiba Inu. He's going to be the angry Shiba Inu.
He's like hangs a poster over his calendar in his apartment that's just like the tabloid photo of him yelling.
Yeah. I really like the beat of there's like a cashier Shiba Inu at a store that specifically, it seems like it's specifically a dog supplies store, which I love that's kind of the concept here, or at least it has a bunch of dog specific products because she recommends like a specific jerky to him. But she basically says like, it's so cool that you're Mugi, and I love that.
She's like, it's so cool that you beat up those tigers.
Yeah, a cute little Shiba Inu brought down the hammer on a couple of tigers. Wow, you go, dog. You're my Shiba Inu role model. And I love that really affects him. He's like, hell yeah.
It's like, you know what? Maybe, and she even ends with like, I'll always can't not love you, Mugi.
Yeah.
And it's like being loved in a different way of like admiring his attitude rather than like appreciating the physical form, I think is really funny.
Yeah. I don't remember how or where, but I know this story comes up again in volume 3 in like the background of another story.
Oh yeah.
Because you see the artist formerly known as Mugi like having success and still being famous later on.
Yes. Here it is. Sorry, it's page 139 of volume 3. It's in the story with the lion and his ex-girlfriend. That he wounded.
Weird story. I didn't like that one that much, but
I think
interesting one.
It speaks to the individual personalities a lot on that one, and I think that they kind of speak to that in a way that clashes with the story that it's trying to tell in ways that are interesting but doesn't work for me as much. These two characters apparently were in Beastars, and I am struggling to remember it. So I wish that I had that context a little more.
Early on in Beastars, they were out at a cafe or something.
That's right, and they saw another interspecies couple, and it went badly.
Yeah, so they're sitting in their living room and watching TV, and it says top 10 bestsellers, and it's the newscaster holding a book, and she says, Mugi, the Shiba Inu calendar supermodel, gets a makeover. Mugi has come out as a middle-aged male, but as it turns out, fans still think he's cool, and his new coffee table photo book has sold over 1.5 million copies.
Shout out Mugi!
I love that.
Yeah.
Also, just the phrase coming out as a middle-aged male.
I know.
It's really good.
Like, I know a lot of people that's actually happened to. And also, it's a very funny sentence.
Congrats to Mugi on your transition.
Congrats, Mugi. Oh, Lord. This note from Scout kills me, which is, I think also speaks to, like, how much I enjoy, like, thinking about, like, what weird shit is going on in this world. There's a story at the end of volume 3
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's about it is about an alligator and his best friend who is a cow, and he gets rained out on his way home, and he has to go over to his friend the cow's house, and his mom is like, oh, why don't you like take a bath, warm up, and he takes a bath right after his friend. And
his friend who is a cow, yeah.
His friend who is a cow, and the bath water kind of tastes like beef broth, essentially.
Yeah, like beef broth.
And he starts drinking it. His friend catches him drinking the bath water. And it's just like this very, like, the face that he makes is just like that. He has the same, like, open mouth expression in every panel. Like, he's like, oh, what do I even say? And he's convinced that, like, this made their entire relationship. Like, he's like, I fucked up. This is the worst. And Scout's comment here.
How many cows are selling their bathwater on Only Beasts?
I love this. I mean, this story is like not my favorite, but the aspects that I love about it are like, it gets at, I think, a queer teenage experience.
Yes.
Of
well,
like,
especially when they're in the pool and he's talking about like seeing his spots through his wet shirt.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay.
It's like in the real world, it's two people having very different sexual awakenings.
Yes.
Right? And like dealing with the fact that they are colliding.
Uh-huh.
Right? And in this world, it's just like a different kind of desire that is being explored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't think it's coincidence that they're at the pool and like Paru has like drawn the cow to be like kind of hot.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I think that's intentional. I also really enjoy that we sort of have this beat where the cow character admits that he, like, obviously saw what the alligator was doing, but tries to brush it off as, like, I don't mind. It's because you're poor, right? Which is very funny. But tries to brush it off and be like, yeah, it didn't bother me. And then later they sort of have this deeper confrontation about it. And he's like, it did freak me out, okay? It freaked me out. It was weird, but I did mean it when I meant I was glad we're friends. I do really care about you.
It was weird, but we're still friends. Like, friends, sometimes people do weird shit.
I love that he holds his mouth closed and is like, I'm sorry. There, I apologize for you.
Yeah, don't apologize. That would make me the jerk. I'm sorry. There, I apologized for you. The alligator's like, what? What the fuck?
It's a good story.
It is. It's a weird one, but it is funny.
It's also how these volumes end. It's the last one.
Yes, that's true. It is a very funny one to end on.
Sorry, I'm gonna look up the lyrics to the song that's in the back of the book for this one is called Might Fall in Love.
Oh.
I'm gonna look up the lyrics.
One of my favorite things about this world that this one gets into is the moments when the actual mechanics of the way the world works are nothing like the way they would work in real life. Like a cow, you wash a cow in a bath, it's not going to taste like beef broth. That's not how this works.
Yeah.
in real life. But the idea of that's the way that it works in animal world is very funny and fun. I like when Paru's just takes swings on like, yeah, this completely incongruous thing is true about the world, actually. That cow bathwater is kind of like bouillon, and it's absolutely being sold on Only Beasts. I tried so hard. This is not important, but I tried for many minutes before I just wrote Only Beasts to come up with some animal that rhymes with fans to do instead of Only Beasts, but I couldn't get anything that was like close enough to an animal that was resonant for it to work.
I mean, I think Only Beasts is pretty good.
Only Beasts is pretty good. It's much better than Only Toucans, which I think was one of my short list jokes.
These are some very explicitly romantic lyrics. So I think we're pretty
Cover
solid
me tight.
on this
I hate
one.
that I miss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Gay Boy Awakening. It's also extremely like young teen love, boys love stuff. Like an alternate I have seen an alternate version of this setup.
Oh, 100%.
In a boys love manga.
Complete
absolutely.
with wet shirt, splashing each other in the pool.
I feel like I feel like I had to take a bath at your place and I accidentally walked in while you were busy. It's just like a trope, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huge trope, not just for queer stuff, also for
not just for manga either. Like
not just for manga.
But yeah, I thought that was a very it's just kind of a fun little ending story for these volumes.
Yeah.
And the only beast joke is very funny because thinking about it, honestly, that is probably there's definitely a market for that.
Absolutely.
There's a story here somewhere about this cow ended up getting into streaming and selling bathwater.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Are there other stories that we want to get to? They should put streaming in B-Stars.
They should put streaming in B-Stars. I did want to touch on the other Legoshi story briefly. Legoshi and his friend Sangwan? Is that his name? Sagwan.
Oh, yeah.
Sagwan.
Because this is where we get a little bit of insight into the marine world. Because there is a totally different culture for sea creatures in this world. There is also often a lot of talk about the elective second language that you take in school is marine, marine animal. I'm taking my marine animal course. And I wanted to talk about this because this highlights a totally different perspective on devouring compared to what the land mammals have as far as the culture around devouring, which is basically in the sea. It's kind of like
whatever,
dog eat
man.
dog, but it's fish eat fish. It's like, we gotta, sea creatures gotta eat, and sometimes we're friends and we eat each other, and we just kind of deal with death through devouring as we would, any other kind of death. And basically Sagwan and Legoshi get invited to an octopus funeral, which is really funny.
And I just thought the octopus cart, selling fried octopus, was really funny after pages and chapters upon chapters of, eating animals being...
Yeah,
yes.
so frowned upon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is really funny. But it's fun that I wanted to highlight basically specifically that we had a long conversation about the different ways that you can that you could analogize devouring and the ways that it is tied to sexuality or sexual desire a lot in here. And I wanted to point out there's also a totally different perspective here, which is marine animals. And marine animals are just going, fucking happens, dude. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to stretch this metaphor too far, but that is true of sexuality as well.
Yeah.
That's also true. Yeah.
I think in both ends, and I think these people are more similar than they are different, but we have the concept of asexuality, but we also have the concept of sex positivity. I'm not saying those are opposite ideas. I'm just saying that in terms of desire, they are on sort of different areas of a spectrum. And we have people who view sex for themselves and sex for the culture differently. In our world. So it's not surprising to me that when the desire is food, right? And it's more focused in on that specifically, that there would be it's not even orientations, but it's just different mindsets on what that means.
Approaches to it.
Absolutely. I think the thing that sticks out for me with this specifically is that it takes away a lot of the more violent and sinister undertones that you can get to with a lot of the devouring in the mammalian world. And takes away the fear a lot, and the intent to do malicious harm.
Yeah.
That can sometimes leak into the other stuff, devouring stuff.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, like, Sagwan even says, like, well, she would rather I eat her daughter's tentacles than some random land animal. It's like, what is in the sea belongs to the sea, and if we eat each other, we're still, like, they're still part of the sea, because we are the ones who are consuming. So it's a very holistic, I think, approach.
Yeah, and just the idea that, like, Sagwan is, like, living between these two worlds is also, like, extremely relatable to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a cool story.
Yeah. Sagwan gets a lot of play in Beastars itself, and also Sagwan is voiced by Sungwon Cho in the anime, in the English dub, and I think about that so much, and he does a great job.
That really tracks. Also, sorry, the Sagwan told me, like, thought box over what would be their genitalia. So it made me laugh the first time.
Yeah. There's, like, in Beastars proper, there's, like, a whole thing about, like, Legoshi
marine animals don't have clothes.
Yeah, marine animals don't wear clothes. So, like, he's like, I'll come back when you've changed. And he's like, no, it's fine. And there's, there's a nice moment where it's like, okay, well, I feel awkward being the one in clothes now. And so Legoshi kind of, like, is more willing to, like, just get naked around Sagwan because he's like, I'm respecting his culture.
Oh, there's a yaoi in that somewhere.
I'm sure there is.
That's how I feel about most of this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's yaoi everywhere for those with eyes to see. Oh, man.
I talked a little bit about, like, in the first half, about how important I think it is to read all of this stuff in this world as dealing with human problems in many instances, but not dealing with it as a one-to-one analogy of our human world, because it is like a totally different, it's dealing with human problems in sort of like an animal world. And I think that really works. But I want to draw, there are also moments where I think I don't think they were intentional friction, but they give me a little bit of friction of like, ooh, I don't know about that. And one of those is there's sort of two instances of, like, Black Panther characters in here that is certainly not a choice I would have made. One of them is like a girl from, quote unquote, the wrong side of the tracks, and is mixed up in some stuff. And there's also the story about, like, the albino city is tough.
Weird.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
And I think
that one gave more cult to me, though. I will say that, but it was weird.
Yeah, it's so hard. And I think especially just being American here as well. All of this stuff is also, like, my experience as an American, and the particular racism that I have, seen culturally growing up that ends up coloring my view of that one, because, like, it is an interesting idea that, like, oh, albino animals are the concept of basically albino animals need to live in their own space because they are sought after for their unique, like, rare nature is fine, but then it ends up being you are a white animal living with all the white animals in the white city of the white community, and, like, the ruffians that you run into that try to kidnap you are, again, like little black cats. And that stuff does not work for me, and I think is, like, it's one of those things where I again want to be generous to Itagaki in that stuff, especially because, like, I don't know. I know that there is also a lot of Black racism in Japan, but I don't know the nuances of that the way I know the nuances of, like, Black racism in America. And so that's the only thing I can speak on. But it's like, those are the moments where you can't, like, I don't want you to, where the concept, those are the moments where the concept of not drawing direct analogies to real life waver for me, when I'm like, oh, but this is, like, it's a little bit too close to, stereotypes that I don't want to like, engage with, and, like, certainly not something I would have done it differently.
Yeah, I almost read it flipped. I read it as this community was almost like forced to be separate.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, it felt very cult-like to me for that one specifically. It was very much like but I also have just been like reading a lot of like cult stuff lately, and it was
You've always got cults on the mind, Jill.
I do. It was like very much giving like, no, you need to stay here because the outside world is scary and we have to protect you. Like that kind of like controlling relationship is kind of what I took away more from it, but it was still like,
I think both of those reads kind of give me pause.
Yeah, they both are.
I mean, the whole book gives me pause, but
boo.
Anyways, that was the one I think that really didn't hit for me. Both of the ones that I just mentioned are the ones where like the animal world, the differences between the animal world and the real world felt like it was flying too close to the sun, and it didn't work as well for me. But I think overall, all of this stuff really works for me. But I wanted to bring that up because I think it's important. You know, you author intent is very important. I'm not a person that's like death. I'm not a big death of the author person. I think that to completely divorce yourself from the context behind a text is to do you and the text a disservice. And that includes like author intent and writing. But even in instances where it's like, well, this clearly wasn't the author intent, sometimes you accidentally play into things that are harmful without meaning to. And it's important to like recognize that stuff too.
The story that was really rough for me was the kangaroo and the Black Panther.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
It was a hard to read story. It's just very paternalistic towards, I think, actually a really interesting character. And also just like echoes some really gross stuff that happens in the world.
Yeah.
And it's also clear that character that is being sort of demonized is like just trying to live. Like even that gets across in this, like even if I like assume that the authorial intent comes from like a naive place, it's this character's still written well and with nuance. It just still comes away with like, man, that Black Panther really did fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know that that's the thing I would have taken away. I think I would have had this story go a little bit differently if I was going to try that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think with that one especially, it's a very early one. It is one of like the first things that she ever sort of produced probably. And so that, you know, I want to give grace to a new storyteller as well. But still worth talking about like the things that don't work as well and the things that are a little like, I don't know about that. Do we have any other little favorite things that we'd like to call out to finish us off?
No, but the main thing I'll take away from this book is the Dami Mami masseuse.
Dami Mami.
For listeners, I think on our previous recording, I did mention that there is a 4th volume out. And I did pick it up today. So I'm very interested to see, because this one specifically, I think is supposed to be a little bit more on the sexual side.
Let's go.
Because it's intimate and twisted tales.
Ooh.
So I am very interested to see like where if this kind of that particular type of story like keeps coming, because wow, what fun.
I will call out one more thing that I like about this world that I think is funny, and that is how it's an anthro-animal world. There's snakes here, and they're just fucking snakes. They're just regular ass snakes. Nothing has changed about the snakes. There's no anthropomorphization with the snakes aside from like they wear hats.
Yeah.
And I love that for the snakes.
Good for the snakes.
Good for the snakes. All right. Let's do some further reading. If you enjoyed this, may I offer you Beastars by Paru Itagaki.
Whoa.
She also has some other stuff, including Sanda, which is apparently about a descendant of Santa Claus. Taika's Reason, which I think is about people integrating their pets into society with like a furry gun. Like furifying your pets and making them your literal children. Both of these are somehow tied into Japan's declining birth rate. So there's a lot, even in just those 2 sentences that I've just said, there's a lot going on.
wild.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Sanda looks fucking, it's like, what?
Sorry, Taika's reason is a psychological horror.
Whoa.
Sorry, this says Sanda is a Japanese manga series by Paru Itagaki about a middle schooler, Kazushige Sanda, who discovers he is a descendant of Santa Claus in a near future Japan where Christmas is banned.
That's so crazy.
Oh, I love that humans make things. It makes me so happy that people
Taika's reason is about a world where pets are humanized to combat the declining birth rate, following a girl named Ao, whose family dog, Taika, is suspected of killing her father, leading to a mystery involving pet humanization and blurred lines between animal and human.
God.
It is a psychological suspense series, and the English version is coming out this year. Never
doubt your creative goals.
Honestly,
I
think we said this before, but like Paru Itagaki is a freak on main. Mm-hmm. She is constantly like putting out just some wild shit. I think I don't know if this is one that's out yet or not, but she like talked about one of the series that she wants to write is about a ghost that like watches.
Yeah, we did bring this up in the first half of the
crazy.
recording.
I love her.
She's truly making stuff. She also apparently has a like some autobiographical manga that I don't think has been translated into English officially yet, and I think it might be called Paru no Graffiti, which is like a porno graffiti.
Oh my
pun,
god.
which porno graffiti is a very popular Japanese, I think, rock band?
I believe so, yeah. They've done some anime openings.
I've seen the original 2003 Full Metal Alchemist. I know what porno graffiti is.
Yep.
Dungeon Meshi for another take on consumption as characterization. Jill, I believe you added this.
Yeah, I think Dungeon Meshi takes it in different ways, but there is a lot in Dungeon Meshi about like what consumption means to you, both in terms of like the regular food that you eat and also like consuming the world around you. I think it does a lot of really interesting things, much like Beastars and Beast Compkex do with like the concept of consuming things.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that for sure. Jill, the next one you said this is a
joke.
You don't want me to bring that one.
I'll recommend I Will Survive by Borba.
Oh, Borba.
This is the Zootopia abortion comic.
That is the Zootopia comic. God, what a time.
Sorry, the reason I was laughing before you said anything was because I was actively reading the Zootopia abortion comic.
Incredible.
And I got to the panel where she says, Nick, I'm pregnant.
Oh my God.
It's honestly like, it's a fun ride.
Yeah,
it's a weird comic, but like in the vein that we just said of like make your weird shit and put it out there.
Absolutely.
Like,
the
Zootopia abortion comic is one of those make your weird shit and put it out there.
To elucidate the listener, just in case this doesn't all get cut from the podcast, this is a fan comic about the characters from Zootopia and their relationship drama, and it goes strange places. And Judy Hopps does get like JFK assassinated by the end of it.
She does.
It just goes to places.
Matt's face is like, no.
And with that, I will take us. Now we have the back matter. In Sequence is a member of The Worst Garbage. You can find us at theworstgarbage.online. My dear fellow panelists, do you have anything to plug on this fine day?
I guess it's me, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we had finished this recording back when we originally did this, I would have said no. But my life has changed a bit, and I'm going to be doing YouTube full time for a number of months until I can no longer afford to do that. So I don't know, go to youtube.com/@flowstatecrit and see what I put out.
Shout out.
I'm trying to get a video up by next week about Blippo Plus. So.
Hell yeah. I've heard good things about Blippo Plus.
Wild video game.
You can find me at plottwist.card.co and make your weird shit and put it out there.
Make your weird
That's
shit
all I
and put
gotta
it out
say.
there. You can find me on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Humble Goat and see the art that I do, including our podcast cover art at scoutwilkinson.myportfolio.com. I'm going to pull a Matt move here and say something into the microphone so that I am more likely to actually follow through with it, lest I make myself a liar retroactively. I'm hopefully this year going to start trying to do like newsletter style sort of monthly life updates on my Ko-fi page.
Nice.
Which you can find at ko-fi.com/humblegoat. So if you're interested in that, I probably want to talk a little bit about the stuff that I'm reading this year. I'm doing a lot more reading this year. I have a reading goal. I want to try and talk a little bit more about the process of my art and some of the stuff that I'm doing, and maybe get into a little bit like my journey with really intense artistic burnout in the last year. And I think that like my coffee blog is a pretty good place to do that. So check it out. Hopefully I've posted something in the near future and you can see it. It's just going to be up for free on there.
I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Until next time, please remember to support your local library and comic shop. We will see you next time when we will be covering Matt's long read pick for us this year, Blue Period Volumes 1 through 6 by Tsubasa Yamaguchi. Excited for everybody to hear that episode. As of this part of this recording, we have recorded that episode.
Yes.
Because that's how time works.
That's how time works. We'll see you then. Until then, goodbye, my friends.
TWG, the worst garbage, online.